And I'm Father Mikhail.
And today we're going to drop a little bit of knowledge on dyes to you.
Ooh.
For you. So if you come over here to our chest down here, you can see we have several different varieties of dyes. In fact, I believe we have one of each. And we have some of the main ingredients that you might need to create some of these. And the beauty about these things is you don't even have to use a crafting table. You can just hit your X button for your personal crafting and go to the decorations tab and then the one to the right, and there's all the different dyes that you can look through and how to create them. So we have several of them that actually, you need two different dyes to create, such as like the light blue or the lime, where bone meal and green and bone meal and lapis would be combined or something like that. Some of the ways to getting certain dyes, like the green, you're going to have to smelt down cactuses. For the black dye, that's going to be ink sacs from octopus. So you're going to have to slay a bunch of octopuses to get those ink sacs for your black dye. Octopussies.
Ew.
The hardest dye to come upon is probably going to be brown. The cocoa beans are like nearly impossible to find. They're only in mob spawns in the chests in the dungeon. So that's a tough one. So brown dye, your best bet for those is to be breeding brown sheep together and just shearing the sheep to have brown dyed wool that way, or brown wool that way. You got anything to say, Father Mikhail?
I don't know as much about dyeing. I've done it, of course, but even in our community world, I always would pay you for dyed wool. I mean, honestly, I think it's good. Most of these items you have stashed. I mean, just as hard. The cocoa beans are tough just because you have to find them in a mob spawn. I mean, everyone's seen brown sheep on their world, but they're pretty rare, and definitely as soon as you need to find one, it's going to be impossible. I think there are some dyes that even take like 3 different items to make.
Yeah, the magenta one does. It requires red from roses, lapis from lapis lazuli, and then the pink dye, which is red and white dye combined, or red and bone meal.
And then I guess
so, yeah, some of them do get a little in depth. I mean, the crafting table or your crafting inventory, or your X button crafting, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory when you look at the dyes on how to create them. It's just a matter of getting the certain colors, and then even then, you just look at that color and it'll tell you how to get it, such as the red is a rose, yellow is a dandelion, etc., etc. So what we like to do, rather than making dyes all the time, is what we did is we went ahead in our sheep farm, we went ahead and dyed each sheep a certain color, and then we breed them, and then we shear them, and that's how we get our dyed wools, which, Mikhail, I don't know if you've showed him the wool chest, but it's not really much to write home about, but, we don't really use a whole lot of wool for anything, but maybe you're trying to make some pixel art, or a really nice carpet in your home, or walls, or whatever you're using the dye for, or the wool for. But I guess we'll bring you into where our sheep farm is. It's a little loud in here, but we'll show you real quick on how we would do this.
Hey, there's a black sheep and our brown sheep.
Yeah, I know. I was going to ask you about that earlier, to be honest.
It's a random spawn. You can just be slayed.
That's crazy. I didn't realize they could randomly spawn.
They can spawn in grass blocks, dude, but the chances are so small.
Huh. So before, like I was saying, with the brown sheep, they are pretty hard to come by because the brown dye is hard to come by. So I'm going to go ahead and breed the brown sheep. And of course I must have hit the black sheep because it had a little black sheep. Well, that's just my luck. That's pastor luck there. Well, in that case, we'll shear both the black sheep and kill them both.
It's good.
After the update, apparently sheep are going to be able to grow wool after you shear them, regrow it. So
What
the
I'm
T9
wondering about-
update will provide that feature.
What I'm wondering is, I think in the PC version, it has to be long grass. They eat long grass. So I'm wondering if we would have to go back and put grass on all the pens, or if in this game it's just going to regrow on like a time.
Well, that wouldn't be a problem. We could just use bone meal to create the grass, or you can even shear the tall grass and then plant it yourself.
Well, I
So,
don't.
I mean, we would have to come back in here and make sure we're replanting it constantly, which might be a pain. But maybe we'll have to expand our sheep pen.
Well, why don't we
or just,
demonstrate with the green one?
Or just make it one giant pen. So we got a little dark green one. So I'll go ahead and shear the big one. Kill him. And now we still have a dark green one, or a green one, and a lime.
And then he'll go add those to our chests.
That's right. Normally we would do that with all. We'll breed as many as we can. And I don't know what the period is on breeding them. I don't know how often. Maybe like a full day, 20 minutes. Or
I think it's a
not
full
even that
day.
long, 10 minutes.
I think it's well, it might be 10. I think it's a full day though. You can see he added some pink, some green, some black.
So yeah, again, the beauty about dyeing is you don't need a crafting table. You can do it straight from your crafting with the X button. You know, like we just showed you, our best interest is to be breeding the sheep and shearing them. We find that we get maximum amount of. Well, I guess we don't really get maximum amount that way. I mean, technically, it'd probably be best to just breed only white sheep and then dye the white wool.
Well, it just depends on how easy it is to come by. With something like cactus, we can get,
that's true.
cocoa beans. Or
But I mean, I guess you guys can
gunpowder.
figure out your own way of maximizing your dyes. I mean, if you're really using it, maybe you're really into the pixel art.
Plus,
And,
there are added bonuses.
Of course, there's always creative mode that you can go into, but but in surviving hard mode, this is how you got to do it.
You
gotta
figure
go
we get
old
extra
school.
experience after we slay them, and there are like many. There are more than one positive, but when it comes to just dying,
Yeah, that is a good point. Is getting the experience from killing the sheep after you're shearing them. So yeah, that's a big positive there, because you always want to rank up in hard mode. So that's how we like to do it. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of this, a little bit of that about that on dyes. I can't even talk. Like this and like that and like this and
like that. All right, well, guys, we'll catch you next time. I'm Father McHale,
and I'm Old Dirty Pastor.
and this was Xbox 360 Surviving Hard Mode. You guys take it easy.
Be good.